to do pretty much all their designs, but I knew he moved on, so I didn't know what happened. Yeah. No, they get some good stuff. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. It's good.
Yo, what's up, guys? Xander with Renewed Podcast. Today we have a new guest on. We got Andrew Walker. He is a three-time Olympian coach and an IFBB pro, so very excited to have him on. You know, it's going to be a great conversation.
Is this company still around? Inaka?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I always had good designs, man. My boy Josh Perez used to do pretty much all their designs, but I knew he moved on, so I didn't know what happened. Yeah. No, they get some good stuff. Yeah, I like it. Looks good.
How we feeling today?
Good, man. Ready to talk, you know. Took some Adderall.
So thank you so much for coming out, first and foremost,
no
man.
problem.
I really appreciate it.
Great to meet you guys. See your whole setup. Beautiful gym.
Phil, how excited are you to get into the spot?
Man, I'm super stoked. We've been just kicking it off with a lot of different good people, a lot of great guests. You know, we're no stranger to good guests, and so we got another one. Just looking forward to it, man. Super stoked.
Yes,
Can't wait.
Yes, sir.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Renewed Podcast. Again, we're out here in Marietta at New Gym. In case this is your first time catching up with this episode in this season, how you guys feeling today?
Dude, I'm feeling great. I'm stoked. We had a good conversation before the camera.
We had some great conversations before the camera.
How you feeling, Xander?
Man.
I feel pretty damn stoked too, man. This is going to be a good episode for sure.
That it is. And in case you haven't noticed, we definitely have a very special guest for you today. This man is an IFBB coach, a three-time Olympia coach as well, correct?
Yeah.
And he is also no stranger to the health game, as you can see. And he's also is affiliated with Dialed Moods Energy. Mr.
Correct.
Walker in the house. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Walker. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
100%. So what we usually like to do is just kind of have guests break down a little bit of what they do, how they're in the fitness game. Obviously, you came down here very well prepared with the Dialed Energy. Give us a little bit of background of who you are, what you do, and then how you got into Dialed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my fitness journey when I was a teenager. It mostly had to do with sports relation. I was training specifically for baseball and football. Got to college, decided not to pursue any kind of college athletics by my freshman year, the middle of my freshman year, and kind of turned to bodybuilding to fill that space, right? Like we all have that competitive space usually. And so I got pretty deep in it, but I'm from a town called Morgantown, West Virginia. It's only 40,000 people.
Oh, dang.
So needless to say, I'm probably the only guy there. Maybe my friend Brandon that would have been considered bodybuilder. So I didn't really have anyone to learn from or kind of expand my knowledge or even do anything with, right? Like social media is new. This is back in like 2012, 2013. So I decided to make the move out here where my parents had moved. So I moved to San Diego, La Jolla first.
Okay.
Got hired by my first gym there. And after a while decided, you know, as much as people think that the whole fitness industry is like SoCal altogether, the closer you move to LA, the more things that happen in the industry. So
exactly.
I made the move to Orange County and then did my first competition in Orange County in 2018. I won that with my coach at the time, Stan McQuay, who's now my business partner.
All right.
And then after that, competed a few more times, then ended up winning the USA's in 2020 to turn pro. And since then, I've done 3 pro shows. Not sure if I'll do any more. Not sure how many I'll do if I do. But that kind of is what launched me into fitness. And then I've done a lot of fitness modeling since then. And now I own a marketing LLC with my business partner, Drew Sr., and we do athlete management and marketing for a lot of different companies in the space.
That's awesome.
Dude, yeah.
Very well said.
Very brief summary.
Man.
Obviously, a lot more has happened. But
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to break all that down. But first, I say let's just go ahead and get a sample of this Dialed in.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of
I
times,
cheated.
Do it.
I cheated too.
Man, am I the only one that didn't cheat?
You two are, locked in right now.
Thank
All right, so real quick, flavors. You brought us, very generously, you brought us some different flavors. Got the strawberry raz.
Same.
You rocking with the strawberry raz?
Yes.
And
And
we got the pina colada right here.
pina
Paradise
colada.
Pina.
All right, let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. Dude, that tastes like strawberry lemonade.
I'm about to say, dude, that's actually really, really good.
That's probably the best strawberry
Not too
flavor.
bad.
No, that's good.
100%.
So the trick with these too, because these do have 35 milligrams of kratom.
Okay.
They also have the mushrooms, lion's mane and reishi. All three of those ingredients are exceptionally hard to flavor.
Lion's mane.
I can imagine.
Why
dude.
is that? What?
So the kratom has a bitter taste, and the mushrooms taste earthy.
Okay.
And so I don't know. Have you guys tried just regular mushroom drinks before? Like the not like the trippy kind, but like the endurance form.
No, I don't think so.
They pretty much you can pretty much always taste like a dirt earthy taste.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we wanted to create like a multifunctional drink that basically changes the way people view like how you use things like kratom, which would be considered like an alternative ingredient, because it gives you a good focus, and it plays on the opioid receptor. However, it's not an opioid.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very, very high dose that you need for it to become addictive, but it's very, very, very useful in functional situations. Like for myself, I have ADHD, and if I drink one of these on a day that I don't want to take Adderall, I actually find myself to be very calm and focused.
Nice.
So we're trying to teach people, you can use stuff without abusing it. That's like our whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually did a little bit of research on kratom, and it said that a lot of people who are addicted to opioids sometimes hop on kratom to try and get off.
Yeah, so I know that there's a couple clinics that are using that method now. They're using kratom to bring people down off opioids. Obviously, the danger itself is that if you do too much kratom, which some people really overdo it, you might end up going towards opioids. But it would fall in the same category to me as like, yeah, I could have a drink on Wednesday night and not become an alcoholic immediately. Behavior over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's really something that comes down to personal responsibility and like really control and being responsible with how much you consume and just knowing what your limit is too.
But it also sounds like there's so much thought that was put into this, to optimize exactly what athletes are going to be needing to accomplish their goals, not just within the gym, but you have yourself, like you said, you did some modeling before, you represent different athletes, so I'm sure there's like a plethora of needs that they're going to have, and so to kind of identify, hey, these 5 to 6 specific ingredients are going to really help optimize that. I mean, that takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of development.
For sure, yeah.
Talk about that, especially going into what some people would say is a saturated market, like an energy drink market.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
So the owners of the company, Ali and Muha Garawi, they're both into fitness themselves. I mean, I coached Muha. Muha could be, he's going to listen to this. I mean, this is true. He could be a really good men's physique pro if he put his mind to it, and he may get back on stage here soon. So he has experience in the bodybuilding space, and then his brother is very much into martial arts like jiu-jitsu. And so both of them use it for different things, right? But the whole thing, like the name came around like being dialed, right? That's a hot term right now,
right?
Just dialing in every aspect of your life. Doesn't mean you can't have fun, but be dialed, right? We also released an alcohol alternative.
Alcohol?
I've seen those. Alcohol
so
alternatives are kind of
kava and kratom. Kava is a plant that basically kind of makes you feel like uplifted and happy and a little more loose, without actually intoxicating you.
Oh, no way!
But it's been around for I believe thousands of years. It's used in teas in South America, from what I know. But yeah, that mixed with the kratom gives you kind of like a calm, happy, like focused feeling.
Interesting.
So say if someone's like trying to stop being an alcoholic, would they be able to drink that? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you said it's kava?
Kava, Kava.
K-A-V-A.
And has this already been launched? Is this?
Yeah, it is. I'll send a couple cases here to you guys.
Hey, all right.
I had this stuff in the back of my car. I got in a car accident like a couple weeks ago, and I had a lot of products in there, and my trunk was smashed in. I don't know how much I lost, so I just had to grab what I had.
Well, we appreciate it.
I'll send you guys
Thank
a whole
you so
care package.
much.
Though. Absolutely.
Hey, we appreciate it. And the
for
stuff
sure.
is actually really, really good. And we've had a couple of different energy drinks, and we've done some lifting vlogs where we would try some different energy drinks before, rate them, and this is actually really good. This is,
Thank you.
It
For being plant-based.
I can't take credit
all
for that, but yeah, like the boys that own it, they put a lot of R&D in. To not just the flavor, but the doses, what mixes well together, what doesn't. And we should have a couple new flavors coming soon too. We have a good team that does all of that.
Man, no,
So
that's great.
what would you rate it?
Oh man,
What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 for what it is, right?
Yeah, dude.
This is it's a natural, naturally flavored and everything like
Dude,
that.
I'm
What
gonna
would you?
I'm gonna go. like it's kind of a high score. But I'm gonna say this is like an 8.9, dude, on my scale. This
8.9?
8.9.
We're going Dave Portnoy, one
Dave
boy.
Portnoy, yeah,
we always do.
One sip, everybody knows the rules.
Yeah, okay.
One sip, but yeah, if I could give it, I would even say pushing 9, dude. This is actually really, really good.
I'm glad to hear because it's warm too. If it's cold, it's actually way
That's what I was
better.
about to say too. I'm sure it would that would be the temperature. I would say would probably bring it up to another notch. But I like that it is easier to drink. It doesn't for some reason it seems like there's a lot of sour flavors out there, and with the Raz, it gives it just enough of like a lemonade without it being like a Sour Patch Candy.
Right. Not too sour. Like there's too sweet and then there's too sour. I think that's like everything right now.
For sure.
It's like the extreme. Everything's a challenge.
Absolutely,
the extreme sour challenge or the extreme hot challenge. It's like this is just enough of everything. And the fact that there's so much kind of thought put into this to make sure that it's covering so many areas is something that could really differentiate, from the crowd. You just see Red Bull and people jumping off cliffs.
So, like, that's kind of what going back to what you said about like a very saturated market space. That is very true with energy drinks. So when I first heard of the idea, I believe it was in like December of 2023, and Muha brought it to me. I was kind of thinking it needs to be different somehow. It has to be different. You don't want to just hop in the market with Rise and Rain and Bang and
Ghost
Monster,
and
Ghost. I mean, there's so many, right?
Right.
And you really only see like the top 6 or 7 in stores. So I knew it would be hard to get in without some sort of edge. But they came up with the Kratom mushroom blend and idea all on their own, and I really think it was kind of genius because now you see other companies going into the space. The thing that's a little different about ours is ours has mushrooms, the other ones don't. And then we have caffeine, but it's not in the chemical anhydrous form. It's in green tea form. So it's a natural caffeine, and no one drinks green tea and then can't go to bed after, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So this is something that you can drink like late at night. And it helps a lot.
I was actually going to ask that.
Yeah, you can. I can drink one maybe like an hour before I go to bed and still sleep.
I was
Nice.
literally going to ask that because
fantastic.
I'll drink some and oh my gosh, I can't. I have to be up for work in the morning.
Right,
I'm going to get 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it's like 2 a.m. Gotta be up at
some of the
6.
best work happens hours before things are due. Like,
exactly. That's called ADHD, man.
Hey.
And like
call it what you want. The product sometimes,
Yeah,
it's pretty
very
good.
true.
And comparing this to the other energy drinks that I've had, and like I used to be a big Ghost guy.
Rate it.
Yeah, so I used to be a big Ghost guy, and that kind of gives me that like. It doesn't taste like gasoline, but it kind of gives me like a kind of
almost chemically. Like
chemical flavor. And this is a very like good natural tasting drink. And I've been leaning more towards like Celsius has like a green tea one.
Yeah.
So
Less
I think this is a
chemicals,
perfect blend of both for sure.
Awesome. Good
So
to hear.
8.5.
8.5.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I specifically picked the strawberry one because strawberry is like my favorite. They're my favorite fruit because they are low on the glycemic index and they taste amazing.
Yeah,
That's my favorite fruit.
So strawberry lemonade is very close to my heart. With that being said, as it being like warm and everything, I'd probably match Phil's at like an 8.9, maybe a 9.
Yeah.
Wow, there you go.
And I think it would be a little bit like 9.3, 9.4 if it was cold.
Like I know you're supposed to drink this on the go, but dude, like with some ice, like that. I can see myself like about to do like something on my computer just with some ice.
Like, do they have something like
get dialed in?
Similar with the kava flavors? Like, can you put this on ice and mix both?
Absolutely. Kava ones comes in a can too. So I don't drink any energy drink out of the can usually.
Okay.
The carbonation, I feel like they overcarbonate everything, and it messes with my stomach. I do like basically what the opposite of what you're supposed to do with a beer. And this is what I tell clients too when they're on show preps and they have bloating from energy drinks but they don't want to give it up, is you just get a tall glass, put some ice cubes in it, pour the drink straight down to like do the opposite, release all the bubbles. Do the opposite of what you would want to do with the beer, right? Kind of do like what Europeans do with the beer. They try to get all the
bubbles out.
Which is why they can drink so much, is because they're not
that makes
drinking
sense.
it with carbonation and burping every couple seconds.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Well, Xander spent some time out there in Germany too. So
No, I did. Yeah, those people can drink for sure.
They drink it warm too, right?
Yeah, they drink it warm. I'm like, can I get an ice cold beer? Like they're like ice cold.
You're crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that's kind of a
this
thing
is
in
room
Europe
10.
too. Isn't it just the majority of stuff doesn't have ice? They don't.
I
serve
believe
ice
that.
out there.
Yeah, I believe the majority of stuff is lukewarm and boring.
No, definitely. The food out there, like they'll be like, you got to try this spot. I see the plate. I'm like, What is
man.
what is this?
What is this?
It's like gray.
But like at the same time, you want the authentic experience. So
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
just like committing to that whole situation. Because I went to, I was in Manchester and London last year with Young LA. And our whole thing the entire time was like, all right, cool. Like they have a lot of chain restaurants that we have because a lot of American chains exist out there. But I was like, I want authentic food. I don't even care.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I already kind of know what I'm getting. Like I know the stereotypes.
Give me that beans on toast.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
What about
man.
the
That's what it
pudding?
was.
Yeah, it's
the
pretty
pudding
basic,
in the
isn't it?
morning. It's like a
Like Yorkshire pudding or something
yeah,
like that.
it's like isn't it like blood pudding or something?
Oh yeah, they do blood pudding, guys.
What is
blood
that?
sausage, blood pudding.
Yeah.
Just the name. I just don't want the name blood in my food. So
Yeah, no,
literally,
it's not
that's
very
why- was it-
appetizing.
Did you try it?
no.
No.
I wasn't that adventurous. I did English breakfast twice.
Okay, yeah.
Something I did appreciate, which everyone complains about, is that when you order food at a restaurant. Now, although for a good meal, you're supposed to season while you cook, but I did like that they give you food and then let you season it. Because, if you go to a restaurant and something's too salty, it's ruined.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But if there's not enough, you can just add it.
Yeah.
So they do leave that up to you, which then leads everyone to say, oh, they serve unseasoned food. And it's like, no, they're just leaving it to you to season
Exactly.
it how you want it. But
Yeah, so you don't send it back saying, "Hey, this is way
Yeah.
too
Exactly.
salty." They're
Yeah,
actually
and
probably saving money.
Also, probably on average, that's why their blood pressure is lower than ours over here too.
Oh yeah. We're
Yeah.
definitely not the healthiest.
But as a whole,
No.
the food choices, it was like, it was basically like a Rubik's Cube with all the wrong pieces. It's just like, how do I make this work? Is this supposed to be a sandwich? It's like beans, egg, a tomato.
And then you gotta
toast.
I know.
And then some like mushrooms that like with no sauce that they just like threw
Yeah,
on.
they just
And
slice them
English
up like.
breakfast
All
is
right.
different, man. Yeah,
is different,
then it's like some eggs. They
But we
stuff
do
them
some
on
weird
or,
stuff too, right? Like
Yeah,
that they would
we
think is
do.
weird. So who knows?
I would say that because ours is just you think of a typical American breakfast and it's piled high pancakes,
Right.
Your
Scrambled eggs,
scrambled eggs,
Chicken
bacon.
fried steak,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Now
like
that-
we do
now we're
some
getting
stuff
southern,
that,
yeah.
that they would think is weird for sure. But
Yeah.
the difference is that's delicious.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's some taste and some flavor to it, and you're no stranger to kind of breaking down things, that on a biological level. And you guys were even talking over here about some of the different ingredients that it has. Just speaking about this energy drink, man. Can you just break down a little bit about your knowledge, with this industry? Is this all stuff that you have kind of just learned trial and error through bodybuilding, your own research, or is this linking up with people that you've partnered up with and you've just really, for lack of better words, dialed in to this health journey? How did that come about too? Because that's a big part of this.
Do you want me to go into like the fitness, like the coaching side of things, or like?
I mean, you got an
product-based?
interesting journey, man. I mean, so however you kind of want to dive into that, but however you want to break that down.
So I hate the term self-made. Like I hate the term self-made. I don't believe you'll find anyone in the world that's actually self-made, whether it was just from someone saying something to them that gave them an idea, or someone financially backing them, right? Like almost none of us are self-made. And
No,
like,
exactly.
Even if we start that way, a lot of times people along your journey will collab or give you ideas or help, right? But I do research things a lot on my own, right? That's probably the majority of how I learn things, and I do find it to be more fulfilling when I figure something out on my own. So I don't do it because people don't want to help, basically. But as far as coaching, I owe a lot to Stan McQuay, who's my business partner with Physique Inc. I used to have a poster of him on my wall back at West Virginia University.
Oh, dang.
I found it in a magazine at the airport, and I was like, this guy kind of looks like me. And mind you, I'm in West Virginia where nobody looks like me, right? Like literally nobody.
Yeah.
So I saw this and I was like, wow, like, I didn't have anyone to look up to in media or, in Hollywood or anything like that look like me growing up. So I thought it was pretty cool to see someone doing what I kind of wanted to do that had same look as me. So it kind of encouraged me to, I can do this. Maybe I can do this. So I put that poster on my wall back at school, came out here, and then oddly enough, I posted a picture on Instagram and he commented on it out of nowhere with no tag, nothing like that.
Wow.
And I was kind of thinking, this could be a bot, because this is the time when bots were everywhere.
Yeah.
People ran bots on their accounts to do fake comments and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool. I screenshot it, but then I went about my business, kept working on my own. And then I was listening to a podcast a couple months later, and they were interviewing a bodybuilder named Santi Aragon down in Miami. It was the RX Muscle podcast, and Dave asked him, tell us about your journey. How'd you turn pro? Which coach turned you pro? And And Santi goes, well, Stan McQuay actually turned me pro. And the host goes, well, how did that happen? You're in Miami, he's in Southern California. Like, how'd you link up? And he's like, well, he commented on an Instagram picture of mine. So then I was like, oh, maybe this was real. So I revisited the idea, hit up his company, which is now the company that I'm a partner in, and met him in person, and everything kind of took off from there. So
Nice.
I've been learning a lot from him. Just I specifically wanted to learn from him because I saw him as someone who was successful. You know, he has a beautiful family. He's married to his wife, Michelle. You know, they have 3 kids. He owns a house, and he owns multiple businesses. And I kept seeing and hearing about him in things that weren't completely, you know, muscle related or just bodybuilding related. And that's kind of what I was interested in. I was like, how do you get into this space, but not just get into it to be Mr. Olympia, or like a lot of people think of like what they're doing. Like, oh, I'm going to make it to the Olympia stage. I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And the reality is, I'm not saying you shouldn't have big dreams like that, but I wanted to know the other things around like how he operated and how he became to be who he was, because he was known for a lot of different things. Right. And then the second person would be one of my other best friends, Dom Super Sliced. His name is Dom Mutascio. He's from New York, and he's a registered dietitian.
Okay.
So that's kind of what drove me towards more of like the science-based side of things, that and COVID, and seeing kind of how other coaches were operating when it came to, you know, health-related subjects. I kind of didn't like how things were being handled. So I co-coached with Dom for a while. We had a wellness Olympian together, Kelly, and he kind of taught me the next level of coaching, basically.
Yeah.
He just taught me like what it takes, the amount of detail it takes to get someone to the next level.
Gotcha.
And so I did that for a while. I'm still business partners with him. We still help each other out, but I did learn a lot from him, I would say. So those 2 guys specifically in my mind stick out. The third one would be my mentor. I call him my uncle. He's not really my uncle, Abbas Musawi, but he's the formulator of the original pre-workout drink.
The original one.
Yeah, and he owns a company called Icon Muscle Supplement Company. They used to sponsor all the muscle contest shows and be around everywhere. But yeah, he's just taught me a lot about life and the fitness industry. He's been in it forever. His brother was top 5 in the Open Mr. Olympia.
Oh, dang.
Back when Ronnie and Jay were competing. So.
Oh, back then. Yeah.
Yep. So those 3 guys, I would say, like, you know, I learn a lot on my own, but those 3 guys kind of push me in the right direction. And that's how I believe you need good mentors like that. And you need to be coachable and teachable in order for that to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't let your pride get in the way.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not.
That's where I think a lot of people hit roadblocks, is that they have so much pride, they want to do it by themselves, that they literally, it's like, you know, they literally just ignore everything, and then they're like, oh, why didn't this happen? Why isn't this happen? It's like the story about, like, you know, like the boats, like someone drowning in the ocean, and he's like praying to God. He's like, please save me, and a boat comes by, like, hey, can you get in? And he's like, no, thank you. God will save me. It happens 3 more times, and he dies, and he's like, God, why didn't you save me? He's like, I sent you 3 boats. It's like,
come on,
pray
bro.
for it to happen, but they have too much pride to actually take help.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's almost like they glorify the path of going by themselves and ignore people that are trying to give out a helping hand. Nah, I got this by myself.
Yeah, it's like you're you can't be closed-minded when you want something to happen so bad.
100%.
And if you're religious and you're praying for it, it's like the answer that you think it might be, dude, it may not. It may be God's answer to
come in the
what
form
you
that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that for sure. I mean, I think another point would be you need to be ready for when it does happen.
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure.
You need to be ready. Like, you need to be above the water. You need to get yourself above the water to be rescued by that boat. Right? So I would say, even if no one's offering to help you, or you have no idea where your idea is going, keep swimming, right? Because you need to be in the right spot for someone to be able to help you or decide to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
If that ever comes, right?
Absolutely. Have you ever read, just side note, have you ever read The Alchemist?
No, I haven't. I know what book that is. I know.
Check it. Just everything we're talking about right there. It's just it's all encompassing, but it's a good book.
Who's that one by again?
I think it's Paulo Canelo. I believe it's he's a Brazilian. It's crazy. He was a Brazilian author, and he was always afraid to show anybody his writing. And he ended up going to a concentration camp
I've heard about this book.
Yeah, he went to a concentration camp and had a encounter where he, read a story on the wall about some lady there that was actually etching stories into like either the wall there or something like that, writing them down on just scrap pieces of paper, and it just inspired him. It's like, if this woman is going to still create and write, and like, what business do I have?
Just like feeling sorry for myself.
Right. What business do I have not to? So
I like that.
Yeah. So it inspired him to write, and that book is about seeing some of the signs in your life and listening to them and knowing if this is a good sign, if this is a bad sign, kind of taking a look at your surroundings and making the best decision possible, and not harboring on the past or not harboring on the bad things. And it's about this gentleman's life doing that. It's a fiction book, but it's incredible. So I'd recommend anybody out there to take a look reading. If you're on any sort of venture, whether you're doing something new or you're trying a new business or something, it's great. It's just a great eye-opening perspective about allowing yourself.
You're sold it to me, bro.
I only
Amazon Book Club.
Yeah. Some of your affiliate links.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. But that kind of is a little bit of a great segue. Unless, Xander, it looked like you had something that you wanted to ask.
Oh, I did. I was just gonna ask. So you said there was a time period where you were kind of disappointed in like what you're seeing with coaches. Kind of delve into that a little bit more.
Yeah. So we touched on it a little bit earlier, but
we were chopping it up for a minute before it all started. That was
let
part
them
of
know. It's right to bring it up though, because it's a little deeper conversation.
If we had another cameraman, we would have been recording that whole time for sure.
But I mean, it was just a trend I saw leading into COVID where not no one, right? But most coaches just were kind of nonchalant about how long they kept athletes on cycles or pre-existing health conditions before putting them on a cycle, or asking for their blood work or making them get blood work while on cycle or after a cycle or before starting a cycle. And whether you're starting a cycle or not, I would suggest you get blood work at least once a year to know what's going on. I mean, we live in a country where obesity is rampant, and maybe you're not obese, but you need to be checking your blood sugar or your A1C at least to know if you're becoming pre-diabetic, and that would just be something that doesn't even scratch the surface on other tests you could get done, like GI maps, digestive health, stuff like that. So
lipids,
lipid profile. So I after COVID, or like during COVID, I was hired by Physique Inc., Stan McQuay's company, in 2019 as a coach. And I noticed that like not just us, but a lot of people were missing very important things to understand about athletes. So in mid 2020, I partnered up with Mark Sue. He's the owner of Everwell Medical. It's out of Newport Beach. And I started just sending all of our athletes to him. I was like, look, I'm going to send you the things I want checked. If you think there's anything extra you need checked, add it to this panel. So they had this thing for a long time. I think they still have it, called the Walker panel. And we would just send them customers. They'd go in there, get things checked out and catch health
for the
problems.
Walker panel. All right, sweet, come on back.
pretty much. So
he's got that Walker look.
Exactly. So we sent them, a lot of athletes. They were great. They always send us copies, and we if the patient approved it, so we could take a look and see what we wanted to do, but they'd have their doctors look at it. And so then that's the first thing, is then you're getting a professional opinion before you get your coach's opinion.
Exactly.
Right. If there's anything wrong, if there's nothing wrong, great, go ahead and do what you want. But something that I've noticed, even when coaches started getting blood work from people, and then it became a trend, like science-based or health-based coaching, is there's no way that a lot of these coaches know enough about a lot of the subjects that they're trying to help people with in order to help them. So my mantra when it comes to coaching is know what you don't know. And not only know what you don't know, but be willing to admit it to your client, and also send that person to a doctor if they need be. Because there's a lot of coaches out there playing doctor. And they might know the surface level. So if you have a conversation with them, you might be like, oh, this person knows their stuff, right? They can drop a bunch of buzzwords.
Reference ranges.
They know the numbers and stuff, but it's much more minute than that. Like there's drug interactions, right? So you're studying to be a PA, right? And name us some of the things that a coach might not know about, but that actually comes into play when you're prescribing a PED cycle, or you're trying to help someone with a health problem.
Pharmacology, hormonal, like hormones.
Right, but not just not just the names of the hormones, which is what I think that is happening a lot
Yeah.
of times, but how one affects the other.
Yes, interactions between the two. Yeah,
exactly.
What happens on the molecular
like a thyroid
level.
problem would be very complex, and you have coaches playing with thyroid drugs, and you know, if someone's healthy, there are studies that show you could go on a thyroid drug like T3 and come off 2 years later, and your thyroid will completely restore. But a lot of times, if you don't know how to read like reverse T3, TPO, T4, T3, and people don't know how they relate to each other, and it takes some complex tests to really figure out what's going on. And you could have someone with Hashimoto's, hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, right? There's all sorts of, and that could be coming from something else. So you can't even directly address the thyroid.
You need a full. You would need a full panel. TSH, T4, T3,
stuff that like you wouldn't normally ask for. But identifying those problems, or you know, giving someone. I mean, it's even diet related. If someone has a thyroid problem, you need to usually watch iodine in their diet, right? So giving arbitrary orders on a diet plan, or when it comes to medication to people, I think it's out of their range. And some of these coaches are very smart. It's not all of them. Like some of these coaches actually do help people because there's a lot of distrust of the medical community right now. So some coaches are able to actually figure their way out around things, but I'd say they're very few, and do your research before you choose a coach.
100%.
I feel like it also goes back to what we were talking about with the pride thing. They don't want to admit to their clients that they don't know everything.
I mean, I've
seen
seen anti-cancer diets from people that have like a random nutrition certification.
That they got off of Google.
I don't know about that. You're charging someone, you're giving them false hope, or you're making it worse in some cases, right? So I just think it's something that the industry needs to be careful of going forward.
Absolutely. And I think it's incredible, to have that kind of mindset too, because there is such an immense amount of trust between an athlete and the coach.
Yes.
Yep.
To just where it's just almost like a military mentality. Xander, shout out to military men. Where it's just it's a yes sir. It's whatever they say. It's ironclad. And to know that you have that kind of weight of your words with your clients, it really means
it's a big
something
responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility, and to just admit, no, these are the things that I'm really, really good at. I still have a lot to learn with these other avenues, which is why I'm going to send you to that person.
For sure.
That's incredibly respectable, and I think it just kind of goes to show why you do have your foot in so many different doors in this health industry,
right.
Which is kind of interesting. I'd kind of like to break that down a little bit too. You have a couple of different LLCs. You do marketing, and you do athletic marketing, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I do athlete management marketing. The athlete management thing it's easy when you know what you're doing and how to handle people. I also own a clothing LLC, so we just did our first drop yesterday. It's connected to my coaching company, so it has the same name, but it's a thing all by itself, because we eventually want to do streetwear as well. So you don't want really a coaching company selling clothing as well, unless it's mostly gym or team related. But we just like the name, the design so much that we're like, we want people to be able to buy this that are not affiliated with the coaching team. So we broke the two apart, and I own the coaching LLC with Stan McQuay, and we have, I believe, 12 coaches that we work with.
And we'll pop up some pictures of the clothing right here.
Yeah, definitely. And are you allowed to talk about the drop and like the clothing?
Absolutely.
Let us know. What is it?
So I designed the drop. We just did, it was a hoodie with my new logo that I designed, and then a shirt, and then a pair of pants. So that's just basically the basics, right? You got to drop the basics before you go.
Yeah,
exactly. You got to have a hoodie, shirt, pants.
Just
staples.
Like the actual staples, and you keep restocking those when demand hits. Drop went really well yesterday. We're more than half sold out already.
Oh, nice.
So that was pretty cool.
Dang, in one day?
Yeah, and without utilizing really any influencers or social media yet. That's something that we wanted to like build some capital first, and then go into that.
That's awesome.
Get that organic growth.
Huge expense.
Exactly. So if we can recoup, which we already did, most of the money we put into the first drop, and then the second drop we'll start using influencers. But we have a camo drop lined up. I think that's next. So we're going Woodlands camo with like a neon orange hunting logo.
Yeah, boy.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna bring you some stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. Every dark sport drop that happens that is camo, I always buy the camo, bro.
And it's always in the text group chat.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, y'all see it? Did you see it?
With
examples.
They got some hard designs.
I just think the camo's in right now. I think
it is. is.
Like
yeah.
I'm thinking about, I don't know, going hunting and taking a bitchin' photo with like,
That's what influenced you to start competitive shooting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'm gonna wear it. I might as well.
No, that would be yeah.
Yeah, so that's our next one. We wanted to get that one in before it dies down a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe with that one it's gonna be like a trucker hat,
Okay.
Oversized T-shirt, and then a zip up.
Perfect.
So I haven't seen too
This is
many.
whole wardrobe right here, man.
Yeah,
That's actually funny.
I'll bring them all through. You guys
That
can
is
decide.
actually kind of funny. It kind of
And
is
it
my
literally is
wardrobe.
his whole wardrobe.
All right, I'll make sure I get you the camera. But yeah, we got another one after that. So women's drops. So we're doing like
Sweet.
biker shorts, crop tops, and then also sports bras.
Nice.
The women's we're gonna do a little bit less often until we kind of figure out what people want.
Yeah.
It is harder to make clothes for women.
Yeah, women are very.
They're more
difficult niche,
specific.
right?
They know.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a niche.
Yeah, like we have so many random different clothes. They all fit differently, and we're like, oh, throw it on.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Girls are more particular. They know what they want.
Yeah. So are you gonna bring on like female athletes and female pros
so
to kind
since
of
we
be
broke it off away from the actual coaching team, it's a lot easier to like get influencers to be part of it. So I'll probably utilize a lot of the friends I have that have like high followings, and they don't have to be an athlete if they don't want to be, but just I'll throw them a package, just throw it on your story or something.
Tell me how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
does it fit right? Does it look right?
Exactly. Yeah.
100%. The
Yeah.
constructive criticism, especially with that, like you're saying, like they're very specific. Women are very specific how things look and fit and everything.
Yes.
Men too, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
No,
I mean, we got our basics.
I mean,
like,
the difference is that girls return things when they don't fit exact, and guys don't care.
yeah.
I don't think I've
me,
returned
hey, bro,
something
you
in
want
like
this?
20
It don't
years.
fit
No, for real.
Yeah.
If a shirt's a little big, I'm like, I'll just go in a
throw it to
bulk.
one of my friends, or like, grow into it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that's it. Or
4X.
give it to somebody
I'll
that
probably
you-
be there eventually someday. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
someday.
get that big one
Yeah.
day.
No, I'm
so.
just like, all right, I'll play video games in this. Like, I'll just
Yeah.
I'll just play
We're
video games.
like the hassle for guys. I feel like returning stuff is just like we don't do it.
Oh,
No,
yeah, if you gotta
definitely
fill
not.
something out,
Yeah.
clicks 2 extra buttons. Nah.
Yeah,
walk
same
into
as
the shopping,
walk
bro.
into a UPS and see how many girls are in line with Amazon packages. No guys at all.
Yeah. I mean, Ethan's mom, she's
okay,
the queen of
sorry.
returning.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I probably do returns for her once a week.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yep. Yeah, it's either me or my
Wow.
dad. We do returns for sure once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my moments, with Amazon. You know what I'm saying? If
Amazon's pretty
if the
easy, though. They
package,
make it
I mean,
easy.
I just had to return something for him. He
Yeah.
bought a gaming monitor and
They
it
make
didn't
it
have.
easy enough to do it now.
Yeah, they do, but
In
but
the
you're
past, it was like print this label.
yeah.
Yeah, the other companies haven't caught up yet.
Yeah.
No, Jeff Bezos, he mastered that for sure.
did,
He's like,
yeah.
just bring it to UPS. They'll scan it. They'll take it.
Bring
Yeah.
it literally like unpackaged, like
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
Amazon like sends you a new one if you just say you don't like it.
I know.
No return needed. And I'm just like, what is this made out of? Nothing.
Yeah, no,
It's not, has no value. I didn't touch it.
Like they knew this was just gonna be
yeah,
a
they're
broken
like,
on
well,
impact.
50% of our sales are returned, so just
We're
set it
good.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you got a Prime membership, you're good. If not,
Yeah, it's
it
crazy.
kind of sucks.
But
yeah,
you got to.
Yeah.
You gotta have a Prime membership, bro.
Yeah, uncivilized. No. And now, so you're definitely dabbling in quite a lot of different businesses in the gym realm, the health and fitness world. And one of the things that we also like to do is we like to kind of talk about that entrepreneurial spirit and how that was kind of cultivated. And was there a point in your mind where you were just saying, hey, lifting is great. I've done this. I've got what I wanted to get accomplished. Let me see what else is out there. Or was it just kind of more organic? Like, hey, one thing led to another door opened. I'm the type of person to at least take a peek in to see what's going on before I say no. How did you kind of develop this entrepreneurial spirit? And where do you kind of see it going in the future for you with these business endeavors?
So, I didn't go to school for business. I was all in on the fitness thing, and then COVID happened, and like a lot of us, I feel like that took some pretty good prime years from us. As things opened up slowly.
We
it
lost
was
our
like,
graduation from it.
Yeah, exactly. That very, very important time in your life that
Yeah.
you
And
don't
it's
have memories from almost.
And if I may, it seems like everyone that we've had that is a guest that is lifting and has some sort of other business related, gym related thing, it's always been COVID stemmed.
Yes,
so I think it's very
correct.
interesting how that's been the catalyst for some people.
No, seriously.
So
Like,
I think people had to sit around and think a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they came to some good conclusions. The people that you talk to that are like getting stuff done as well.
Yes.
You could have obviously taken that in another direction and just let everything fall apart.
And just F it, bro.
Yeah,
I'm on
even
couch
like
potato.
that are doing well now. Even the people that are doing well now, I still think you had to fall apart a little bit in COVID, and it kind of made it obvious what was important and what you should focus on.
Absolutely.
So for me, COVID took competing away from me, which ever since my first show in March of 2018, my entire life was competing. It was about, improving in the off season and nailing my prep, winning something, getting on stage, because I thought, that's what I knew, and I thought that that's what was generating income for me at the time, right? Companies pay you to compete or pay you to win, go get a big contract, win a bunch of stuff, become popular, whatever it is, right? COVID made me realize that everything's temporary, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
What we have here on Earth, everything's temporary.
And it'll be taken away like that.
Yep. People's relationships and their marriages were ending.
Yep.
People lost their jobs all at once too, right? It wasn't like, your buddy gets fired. No, it's like everyone.
It was a literal domino effect for a lot of people. Just boom, boom, boom. Just.
And I was in LA, so I was living in LA. So to me, it was like extremely obvious.
Oh Lord, man.
Yeah. I think the first case in California was discovered at the Promenade in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And a girl that worked for me at one of my stores that I was managing, her roommate worked at that Apple store in the Promenade. Yeah, so it was like we were right there. I caught it early. I caught it on July 7th. I was gonna say I caught it around, but I know exactly when.
You got COVID.
I remember the day.
Well, I know July 7th because I lost my taste and smell, and they're not back fully yet.
To this day?
Yeah. So I'm around 25%.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. Still,
So
I'm one of those.
you have long
rare
COVID?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was long COVID where I was tired. I lost hair. Just wasn't myself for probably 9 months to a year.
Wow.
Dang, that one itch.
And my taste and smell was 0 for 9 months to a year too, and then it came back a little bit, and then every once in a while it comes back a couple percentages more. Yeah. So I just saw that they're doing studies on people like me right now that basically lost their olfactory system. When I first started getting it back, I could only smell bad things. Smoke, trash, skunks. Yeah. And I think that was my survival senses coming back a little bit, but that was pretty much the only thing for a while. And now I would say I'm a point where it doesn't affect my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell enough to where it doesn't affect it. That's why I didn't rate the drink too, guys.
Okay. So you don't really know.
I'm just kidding. I can taste it. Okay. I can taste it a little bit.
I think I know because we were wrestling our senior year. I think the whole team got it December of 2019.
Oh, wow.
Because the
whole
whole entire team, the whole entire team just fucking smacked us
Very
like a train.
possible.
All of us,
Yeah, very possible.
everyone was getting sick. But then we got over it pretty quick because we're young. We got pretty sick, but then we just got better and. Luckily, we were able to finish. I didn't finish my season, but the team got to finish their season and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. It was a hard time being in California when COVID was happening.
I'm sure kids lost scholarships because they didn't play. And,
and the state was the most locked down than other states in the United States.
Absolutely,
This was the most strict state to be when places like Texas and Florida.
I traveled to Missouri twice during COVID, and I was like, y'all know what's going on?
Nobody's wearing a mask or nothing.
Dude, nothing was closed. There was no sign. I don't think there were masks. I don't think anything actually. From what I recall. Anything. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was an interesting time. It was a catalyst to a certain way of thinking too.
Right.
And I think that stems when you were. I don't know if this was on camera or off camera, but kind of the mistrust in the medical community because of everyone. California mandated you got the shot.
Yeah.
Everyone's
absolutely.
well, you can't make me do something that I don't want to do. It's my so. It was just a weird time. It was just
weird.
super weird.
People,
my dad got the
friends.
COVID shot and he started having cardiovascular issues. He had to be admitted overnight because he was that was scary. But you literally see the one shot and people getting blood clot. I don't know, man. I don't know. To force people to have it when you have a federal job is scary.
I don't even remember if I had an opinion at the time. I mean, people will probably hate me for saying that, but I knew so many smart people that were pretty much split 50-50 on both ways.
Yeah.
If this is the real deal, then even if these are the wrong decisions, they have to try to do something to stop it. And then if it's not the real deal, I'm on the other side where you're ruining a lot of people's lives.
For sure.
Yeah, so I can see that how there was a lot of chaos in their own decision making, and I think at the end of the day, right or wrong, obviously we know now more that it was probably incorrect, but they were trying to do what
absolutely, 100%.
There's no doubt out there. There's no protocol down about how to handle a pandemic like that. That's what this will move forward in the future. They'll
on
have
that
a
type
plan.
of a global
100%.
level, sure.
And people didn't think they were gonna push out the vaccines as quick as they did.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that was a miracle. That was a really good move. But I think the only opinion I had during that time is make someone do
Right.
it.
The freedom of
Like,
choice would have been.
You literally, like, just, no one. This is America. You
Yeah,
know,
I
like,
think
read the facts.
I think everyone would
take
agree
what
that
you
there
want
was
from
a lot
that.
of government overreach.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And sometimes the negative things take place, and then you look at it and go, okay, we're not going to do that again. And I'm hopeful that that's another situation.
Yeah, right. In that
where
case,
we
it
can
would have
look at
been
it.
good that it wasn't as bad as it was, but that they maybe figured out a system on how, because it will happen eventually. That's
Yeah.
the
Sure.
thing.
Yeah, it's bound to.
And
Every
if it
100
does,
years,
you know,
something like that happens.
It's bound
Yeah,
to.
for
and
sure.
if it does, people like you will create more businesses. So
Jeez.
through that kind of chaos of COVID,
Sorry.
and no, it's cool because it was an odd time, and it was definitely a pivotal time in history where people, like you said, it took a lot away from people, and I like that because I think sometimes you don't really know. It's almost like the less is more theory. Keep it simple, stupid. When things are kind of taken away from you, you are left with this kind of, well, this is all I have, so I got to make something work
You're left with
it.
what's up here.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you kind of have to take, whatever you got and make it work.
Right.
It kind of makes me think, back growing up, my parents, they were, when we were struggling growing up, we used to have these campouts, in our living room. And my dad would put the fireplace going, and it'd be roaring and all that stuff. And just a little kid, we'd all camp out there and everything. I didn't realize at that time it's because my parents couldn't afford the heating bill.
Wow.
And so it was like, no, we're gonna camp out. We're gonna do
Right.
something cool. And I didn't realize because if we were in our bedrooms, we'd be
freezing
extremely
cold. Yeah,
freezing
yeah.
cold. And so we did what we had to do. And that kind of mentality, when my dad telling me that as I got older, he's like, bro, we did that, fool, because we couldn't afford the
Right.
gas.
No,
What? Like,
I know.
I
And-
love that. It's
But it-
making the best of whatever. you
100%.
do.
And so a lot of people have a fight or flight when they see some stress, and it's like some people will take that fight and they will make a business out of it. They will make great decisions.
Yes,
Absolutely.
And so I'm
exactly.
very curious about like the kind of, if you could pinpoint, like it's like
So
when you made that change.
Basically, exactly what you're saying would be, I realize that the most temporary thing in the world is how you look. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Up till that point,
Looks fade.
everything I was doing was based on how I looked.
Yeah.
And then there's age, and then there's PED abuse, which ages you. You lose your hair, your face looks older.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, like I make okay money doing this. I like to do it, and this was kind of my dream. So I'm still going to pursue that, but I need something of my own. And I need something of my own. I don't want to work for someone forever. I need to create something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started moving into more, creating stuff and getting back to my roots of creativity. I used to be very creative, and then I kind of moved more into just, bodybuilding essentially, where
Yeah.
it takes up a lot of your time. And I took a lot of the discipline I learned from bodybuilding and I transferred it over into kind of, the business world, entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
coming up with new ideas, time management, right? Like, so I'm ADHD, so time management is not on my side, but bodybuilding teaches you time management. Sure. It's, you get it done no matter what. If you don't get it done, you're going to look back and be like, why didn't I get that done?
Yeah.
So at the same time as I was like using bodybuilding, which is why I do not regret my time competing at all, I used those things I learned and put them towards, real world life skills essentially. And I think that is something that like fitness people or bodybuilders have a hard time doing.
Yeah.
And it could be just because maybe you only love bodybuilding and you haven't found what it is else you're looking for. But bodybuilding was taking up so much of that like space in my brain to execute every day perfectly. There's so many things you need to do that I realized if I could do that a little looser and pour more of it into kind of things that I found creatively to be stimulating or that could make me money, then I'd be happier overall. And really that's what the goal in life is, right?
Yeah.
To be happy. Like, and that comes from what are you doing 30% of your life you're going to work, right? Minimum. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
sleeping,
minimum.
and you're sleeping the other 30%.
yeah, I mean, we're here on Sunday.
yeah.
You guys are working, so like, it's probably way more than that. But yeah, you're going to be sleeping and working. You better like what you do for a living, and it needs
absolutely.
to not rely on where you are in the present. It needs to have a vision.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, my entire brand couldn't be based on like how I looked, and that's kind of why I wanted to, link up with Stan McQuay, because although he was on hundreds of magazine covers and he was on ESPN and he was a champion bodybuilder, he seemed to have found a way to make things work with his brain as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not just his body.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
that's pretty
man.
much where everything stemmed from.
Man.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you realize the most important currency in life, and that's time.
Time, exactly.
You can't get it back. And I saw a
Exactly.
video, you know, where a 17-year-old kid was coming into a jewelry store and this guy has a bunch of jewelry on, and he's like, you know what, young man? He's like, you're richer than I'll ever be, because what do you have that I don't? He's like, how old are you? He's like 17. He's like, you have 17 more, you know, you have like 20 years more of life that I can never get from you. I can't buy that from you.
Right.
But
Exactly.
one day you can buy this chain.
Same thing when
know?
they say, you know,
So it's crazy.
on their deathbed, like any billionaire would give up their entire fortune to have 10 more years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Spend more time with the family.
And it's like,
which means time is priceless. We're talking
Right.
like it. Well, obviously it's different.
finite
to different
versus
people.
infinite.
So let
yeah,
me
exactly.
let me ask you this. Like this, I saw this too. It's like, if I were to give you $10 million right now, would you take it? You probably would, right? You'd take it. But the catch is you won't wake up tomorrow.
Right.
You probably wouldn't take it, right?
Right.
So waking up tomorrow is worth more than $10 million.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So
you
wake
have-
up every day
that's
with a
gift.
smile on your
Absolutely.
face. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's
Ethan.
super
I
cliche,
saw-
but
I
it's
saw a video
super
on
cliche,
it.
but it's true. Like
Yeah.
it is. It is very true. You don't even know what your life's worth or your time is worth until you're put in a situation where you have to examine it, right?
Exactly.
Or you almost lose it.
Or exactly.
Or even on the flip side, you kind of don't really see what you are missing or what you've been like wasting your time on until you find the thing
right.
that you're like, oh my gosh, like this is it.
This is
you
what
know?
I'm pouring my
Yeah.
energy into
And
now,
so
yeah.
you know, that was one of the things I also wanted you to kind of break down a little bit, if you'd be so inclined. You know, you were talking about doing things that spark a little bit more creativity and how you have an outlet for creativity that, you know, needs to be kind of nourished and nurtured. What is that medium? Are you into drawing? Are you into digital design? Were you always kind of into like sketches and kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
so
Like,
I did a lot of art as a kid. My mom was she's from Hawaii, but she's part Japanese.
Okay.
And she's like I don't want to call her overbearing or anything like that, but she's very much like, my kid's gonna be good at a lot of things. Kind of,
Okay, yeah.
typical
shouts out to
Asian
mom. You know?
stereotype, right?
Yeah,
So,
no B minuses in the house.
No. Yeah, I did, but
But I took the licking, so it was all
I took
right.
PhDs, but, you know. No, but you know, I played instruments: guitar, bass guitar, electric guitar, keyboard, piano, and I did a lot of art. Pastel, watercolor, charcoal, sketching, like,
Nice.
pretty much everything. She made me take art classes, and I don't regret those either. Actually, it's something I enjoy. I think I got away from it a little bit in high school and past because, you know, I'm ADHD. It's really hard to sit down and do something like that. But then I recently got back into that kind of stuff with clothing. I like designing clothing.
Yeah.
So I've been, you know, I was designing graphics for a while, and I'm editing videos, obviously for social media content and stuff like that for my sponsors. But recently, I really wanted to get ideas out of my head, and I have a clothing side to the coaching brand, so I decided to make a couple of designs there, and that's where this first drop popped up. After we got the first drop nailed, I just started having all sorts of other ideas too that I needed to get out, and I put them down, and I think we have 6 to 7 drops already lined up.
Nice.
damn.
Nice.
So we're going to be pretty consistent about it. Everything's going to look completely different than the last, but yeah, it started really with us like redesigning our logo. Our logo is 12 years old. And it kind of looks it. I mean, it's a classic logo, and we like it, but at the same time, it's too much heavily associated with the fact that we're a coaching team, and we wanted to be able to sell clothes to anybody who wants to wear them. And our name is so generic. We own Physique Incorporated and we own Muscle Incorporated, that we were like, this is a word that you'll wear on your chest, like whether or not you're part of like the coaching side of things.
Yes.
It stands for like your hard work, what you've put in, and
Yes.
it's like, no, like I wear physique clothing, it makes me look good because I'm trying to build my physique. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what made sense to me. So mostly it's clothing designs that I'm doing right now. I've designed a couple labels for products and stuff like that, but that's not as interesting to me. It's actually harder to do because the label wraps around the bottle. And it needs to look a certain way, and then there's certain things you have to put on it. But clothing is like a blank slate.
Right.
Yes.
So it's literally like, it's not even maybe a picture or a word or a phrase, but it's something that flows together. And although it's subjective, at some point it's objective too.
Yes,
right?
it is,
Because
yeah.
certain things become very popular. So the majority of us
Yeah.
like the same things.
Yeah.
And
kinda
objectively,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and kind of
Yep.
taking feedback and like making something and seeing how many people buy it or like it or respond to it is like a very rewarding rewarding feeling.
No, for sure.
Yeah, it's an objective attraction.
Absolutely,
just a natural,
yeah. Seeing something that you created on a shirt or a pair of pants or a hoodie or a hat is like a very cool feeling.
No, for sure. Like me and Ethan. Well, like I'm really into like clothes as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like I was messing with some designs for a little bit, and
That's
we even
awesome.
made some demos. So
you
it's
got
actually
it
we tried a little bit.
yeah, we tried a
Oh,
little
nice.
bit, but
you got any here?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll. It's definitely something I want to revisit in the future.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
What
man.
was it? Was it
It's
Atlas?
like junkies.
No.
Oh.
But what was the design on the
Oh,
back?
we had like it was like an Atlas holding. Like,
The guy holding
on the road? Yeah.
With a little logo that I made on the front. So it was pretty
Awesome,
cool. It was pretty cool
awesome.
for the time, but you know, we obviously didn't have the materials to make it like super high
Right,
quality.
right.
But one day, you know.
We're that's something that like that's why I don't ever say like I did anything by myself, but like so my good friend Sergio, he owns One Up Lifestyle. You guys ever heard of One Up
Yeah,
Lifestyle?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They
Yeah.
were here for a pop up.
Yeah, so
last year.
Sergio's
Oh, yeah.
business partner on us with that. He's 20% of the clothing company, but he does all the sourcing, manufacturing, and he does some designs too. So some of the stuff that we're going to come out with, because he has a good eye for that stuff too.
Yeah. Nice.
And he already has the manufacturer suppliers for like, you know, the acid wash, the worn out look, but still high quality clothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're able to get better quality than just like a bag of like cotton t-shirts.
Yeah,
to
like
print on them.
Gildan.
100%.
Yeah, iron it on or
100%.
something. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
what we were doing in the past, and I was like, look, like even if something is not a design I would wear, I'll wear it if the material's right and the fits
For
right
sure.
a lot of
LA
times.
apparel type
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And like you see with a lot of like major artists when they come out with their merch, it's all on like Gildan.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it's like garbage
it's kind
quality.
of a cop out. It's like, do you just want to wear my logo?
Yeah,
That's what it
for
is.
real.
It's not like a designed piece of clothing. So we had to make sure like our clothes were not just like you said printed on Gildan, just a
Yeah.
logo on Gildan, because
Yeah.
you can get bigger with your logo. So I think Young LA did a really good job with this, where they didn't do anything obnoxious with their logo. They nailed the basics and made people fall in love with the fit and the quality of the clothes
Nice.
and the price point.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when the name became popular, then they incorporate the logo as a graphic, and they have 100 different logo types, right?
Yeah.
So for us, like our first drop is like logo heavy, and then after that, we want people to fall in love with like the quality and the concept of the
Yes.
clothes. The concept of the clothes being like, you know, I work out to look good in streetwear. Right.
Yeah,
so
for
I have,
sure.
Well, workout clothes, but I work out really to look good in streetwear, so I want clothes that fit me well there too. Because as you guys know, anyone with muscle looks funny in street clothes usually.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like
They're not made for that.
Disproportionate,
No,
yeah.
They're not made for people that have shoulders or arms or
Yeah.
chests or anything like that, right? So that's kind of our thing is like hit with the quality. This will probably be our only drop for a little while that just incorporates our logo. We just wanted to get the new logo out there, and then everything else is going to be a concept of something
okay.
and a theme.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it for sure. No.
And I think a lot of people don't even realize like the amount of time that it takes, like you were saying, to have like a plan of action. That a lot of people think, okay, I got a design, I got somebody that I can go through for my supplier, or even doing like a print on demand or ship on demand type of a deal, and then that's it. But the actual time that it takes to plan out, I think
Yeah.
we're gonna go heavy with the logo to get it out there and get people to recognize it, and then we're gonna go next with this basic set of stuff, your hoodie, your shirt, and your set of pants to work out, and then we're gonna be dropping this because you're gonna want to look good in your streetwear. It's
Right.
like all
Very
of that's
strategic. It's like years in
100%.
advance plan, basically.
Yeah.
You have to,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so much of that can be kind of tied back to the discipline in the gym. Like if I want to plan for this, event, I know I'm preparing months and months and months, potentially, years, if you really
Right,
think about
right.
the end goal being like Olympia or something like that.
Correct.
That's a lifelong dedication that you got,
Absolutely,
in health.
yeah.
And so just if you can kind of touch on that just real quick, just like that mentality of having that just
so
insane discipline.
I think that was something too that, a lot of people, including myself, don't have when you're in the moment. It's all just about the next thing,
Yeah.
right? You get off stage, you won. What's next? You get off stage and you lost. What's next? I got to do something. I got to
Yeah.
get my
Yeah,
mind
yeah.
off the fact that I lost, right? So there's not usually a whole lot of plan. That's usually between like yourself and your coach, and if your coach is smart, health wise, how far can we push it? When do we need to take a break? What
Yeah,
shows can I get ready? Are the shows too close together? Are they too far apart? Right, with
Yeah.
your peaking protocol. But yeah, like you do learn like over time, right? A judge gives you feedback. It's like, all right, anytime that I'm eating in a surplus, anytime that I'm getting enough calories in to train heavy, I need to let's say it's my back that needs to come up. I need to focus on my back. So I need to figure out the volume and frequency a week that I can hit back and still recover and then hit it again.
Yeah.
Right. So that I would consider like long-term planning, right?
Yeah.
Or really just kind of focusing on your posing in the off season, even when you're out of shape.
Yeah.
Right, because then when you're in shape, it looks 10 times better.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really hard to pose when you're out of shape because you're just like, why do I look like this right now? I hate how I look.
You don't even
right?
want to like pose because
Yeah,
you're just like,
exactly.
man, I look like
We
garbage.
haven't taken our shirts off in the corner of months, bro.
Oh man, I hit those times too, though. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it is one of those things where like, and then when you transfer that over to business, like, all right, you need to have short-term and long-term goals.
Yes.
Like, where do you see this going in the future? And it'll sound crazy in your head, or if you have a business partner, to them at first when you're thinking about like, oh, this is how we can get into Target or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But in reality, if you do not have that next goal, then when you hit these little goals and you finally get to what you thought was your big goal, because you will get there if you really are diligent about it,
Yeah.
then you'll be lost and
Yeah.
you'll spin your wheels for a
Where
while
do
because
we
you
go?
didn't set another goal and you didn't have it in your mind so long that you were able to set up the small steps that kept going towards it. Like, I'll give you an example. Not that I didn't believe in myself, but I really only wanted to turn pro. That was it. I just wanted to turn pro, and I wanted to do it at a big show, so I had a title, right? Because I'm a firm believer that when you're an amateur, you need to win your titles, because when you're a pro, you're probably not going to, right? Like, a couple people do that. When you turn pro, you're probably not ever going to win a pro show, so you're not going to get a title, right? And you're not going to probably win Mr. Olympia, so you're not going to get a title.
Yeah, most
right?
likely.
So, but there are titles at the amateur level that are worth having, right? Like Mr. Texas or Mr. California, Mr. LA, right? There's cool titles.
Yeah.
So you need to get your overall, I would say, as an amateur, because that'll be your title, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm an IFBB pro, but I also won the Mr. LA back in blah, blah, blah. Not me, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
so that was my immediate goal. I was like, I want to be like a USA champ. I wanted to be a national champ.
Yeah.
I did it on my third try, and I would say that the feeling I felt immediately after I won and then going into the next week was not happiness or relief. It was like, okay, what's next? I really didn't plan for this. Like, I have no idea what to do.
Wow.
It's kind of like you hit it and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, now what?
Yeah.
Almost.
It was now what? Yeah.
Wow.
And I almost wish I was more delusional because I would have planned further ahead. But delusion's a big part of succeeding, guys. Like
No,
it
for
is.
sure.
100%.
Because you got to be
And eventually
delusionally
it
believing
became
yourself.
not delusion, so then people don't call successful people delusional, but at one point they were delusional, right?
100%.
Delusional then turns into vision once you succeed what you want to succeed, but all the way up until that point where you do succeed, you're delusional. And it's okay to call it that. Like that's
No, for sure.
That's what it is, right?
Man, you know,
Everyone sees you as delusional until you actually do it,
And then it
and then
becomes the
you're a
visionary.
genius.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you're
you know what's
yeah.
funny is my pops used to tell me, he goes,
Pioneer.
everybody that talks about a plan, they're just a dreamer.
Yep.
The people that actually put that plan down to paper and formulate it, now you're actually acting on that plan. Otherwise, you're just talking. So
Yeah,
even if
absolutely.
you're just starting to just write it down and get some ideas flowing on this business venture or whatever, then it's just all talk. You know, start to
And
actually
just do it too. Just go do it because you don't need that full long-term game plan ready immediately to start. You just need to start, but you form that as you go, right? Like when I first competed in 2018 and I turned pro in 2020, that was 2 years that I could have been, you know, I'd already seen that I was pretty good at it. That was 2 years I could have been planning to go further than I did. Right?
Yeah.
But I think also that everything happens for a reason. I don't know why I say that. I just do believe that deep down. And I just think that maybe that was as far as I personally was supposed to go with that particular part of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I have competed as a pro since then, but I didn't quite feel like I loved it the whole time like I did when I was an amateur. Just
Interesting.
it seemed like, and I am also a big believer in once something is taking more from you than it's giving to you,
Yeah.
then it's a good opportunity to step back. Doesn't mean you'll never go back to that. It just means at that point you need to focus elsewhere, right? Like bodybuilding takes a lot from people.
Oh,
It takes a
definitely.
lot. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. It can take from your health. It can
It's like a
from your
full-time job.
relationships.
Yeah, no, for
I
sure.
mean, in a lot of cases, it becomes worse than that, right? Because it can affect your mood, your temperament, right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
there's a lot of variables when it comes to that. I'm not talking trash on bodybuilding because it's the field I'm in, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to talk about like post-show health, which is
Yes.
like after your goal. You need to have a goal set immediately after that. And you need to, the best way to have good post-show health would be to not ditch all of your responsibilities leading into your show just so you can get on stage, right?
Yeah.
There's a show in Southern California, every 2 weeks now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Just cancel that one you're going to do and do the
Uh-huh.
next one. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty simple.
It's
So,
not that serious.
Yeah, it's not that serious, exactly. So, yeah, I just really think, if something's taking from you and you don't notice it giving much back, it's time to cut that cord,
Absolutely.
right? That's
When
what
it
you do
becomes
in a
more of a-
relationship.
yeah.
That's what you would do at work if
Uh-huh.
you think you're not getting paid enough to do the work and it's taking all your time. But people, for some reason, just don't have that thought process when it comes to bodybuilding. And I'm not saying don't work out. I'm not saying don't eat healthy, don't do cardio. I'm just saying maybe take it at the pace that you can handle it at that point. In your life.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. Yeah, I mean,
Everyone wants
overworking
everything fast now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Overworking yourself in anything is gonna make you just burn out
Yeah.
super quick.
Yeah,
Especially if
you're
you're not
you'll
being
li-
paid to do it full time, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
If you're not getting paid to bodybuild, then treat it like that. I would say treat it like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're really, really, really good. But if you're that good, you'll know. People will tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll be
yeah,
getting picked up.
Yeah.
100%. Man, well, it may not seem like it, but we've covered a lot of ground in this hour that we've already been talking.
Yeah.
And, there's only a couple of things, I guess, left that, because this could definitely be a 3-hour, 4-hour
100%.
podcast.
Yeah,
100%.
for
So
sure.
we got to
We
have
can
you
talk forever.
definitely,
Yeah, no.
come back for sure. You are definitely somebody that has kept our interest in, and you just got a lot of things going on right now. And so I just feel like we're not even really scratching the surface at all of the wealth of knowledge that you have within this industry. But I guess to maybe even just try and speed run this, if you will, I hate even calling it that, but you've done so much already. What's next, man? What do you see other than these drops, that are coming out, your coaching? Are you planning in the next, 5 years, this will be the game plan? Are you just planning like, hey, these 4 endeavors are really going good, so we're just going to kind of plan to see how the next move looks with each endeavor? What's next on your plate for someone who's got so many endeavors going on?
Right. So,
And feel free to plug anything that you want to right now.
okay, yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
So I feel like I've been plugging the whole time, though. So but yeah, so I mean, I would say each thing that I'm involved in has like an immediate goal and a long-term goal. Not all of them work together, and maybe not all of them will work. Right, so that's also why I keep myself busy with a lot of things. You want to keep a lot of irons in the fire. Find out what you're good at. Find out what a good idea is, what a bad idea is.
diversified portfolio.
Absolutely. Like my immediate goal is I want to take Dialed to like the height of its popularity, whatever it can be. I want to take it there. That's like my main focus right now.
Okay.
The other companies I work with, I just, since they contract me, I try to provide as much value as I can and just stay on top of my stuff and give them ideas to help them grow, because I want them to make money and do well as well.
Yeah.
I don't partner with companies that I don't like the owner of, and I don't like who the brand is and
I
what they're
respect
doing
that
as
a
a whole.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
for
we
sure.
we have turned down a couple contracts that we felt didn't quite fit what we wanted as a brand. And then as far as the apparel, it's like a passion project, right? I put my own money into it, so did Stan, and we're just kind of like seeing where it goes. If it makes money, awesome. If not, even if it makes a little bit amount of money, we're basically getting paid to do something that's fun for us.
Yeah, no, for
right.
sure.
So when you start it like that, it's like no pressure, right?
Absolutely.
No pressure. If people like my stuff, they'll buy it. If they don't, they won't buy it. And
Yeah.
no harm, no foul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, I have 12 coaches, like I said, and I want to see them all with 50 clients each. Our split's very small on that because we just brought on 9 coaches, and all 9 of them, my main goal, I'm not saying they're not smart because they're all very smart, they're all great people, but our main criteria for bringing them on was reliable and trustworthy, right? Like, are you going to answer a client when they hit you up? Right?
Yeah.
They're paying you. Are you going to answer us when we hit you up? Are you on time? Are you dependable? Because you can teach someone the coaching side of things, right? You can teach them. You can teach them nutrition, training, cardio, pharmacology. You can teach that stuff to people. But you really can't teach them how to be a good person and how to
No, exactly.
I know
how
what,
to be
man.
consistent,
Right.
basically.
And
right?
it's crazy because that's like it's getting more rare nowadays, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are becoming less and less
A lot of
dependable.
a lot of flakes. Yeah.
Call
Yeah, for
outs.
sure.
So we did a great job picking this current batch of coaches. We will be hiring before the end of the year, probably late summer or fall. Once we fill these coaches up, which we're well on our way, then we'll bring in on 5 or 6 new coaches to also load up, because we get a lot of inquiries. I don't coach much anymore, so I help them with their clients. So I'm CC'd on every single email, every chat that they
Great.
start.
Okay.
So I'm still there in case they need help, and I'm there for the client to ask me questions. Same with Stan. But we just don't have time to like create all the plans and like really handle it. And we think there's a lack of not a total lack, but there's a hole to be filled for good quality coaching.
Oh.
So that's what that provides. So my goal for that would be get them all to the point where they're making 6 figures a year coaching full time.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Which we're getting pretty close to that.
Nice.
So that was our whole thing, is like help coaches that deserve to be helped, because not everyone can do everything when it comes to coaching, because coaching is very specific, where it requires the same skill set as like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But also then you have to be almost a scientist, like to be able to do it too, right? You're not nutrition, cardio, training, peptides, vitamins, supplements.
Yeah.
You're teaching about PEDs, but then on top of that, to get a client base, you need to be personable, marketable. You need to be your own marketing. You got to be your own accountant, right? You got to do the groundwork. You got to be your own PR. You got to be your own HR essentially, right?
Yeah.
Monitor yourself, how you're interacting with clients. So it's like 10 skill sets, right?
It's not as easy as just getting the certificate and then boom, I'm a personal trainer.
Which is why when you
line up.
Which is why when you get a coach, you need to do your research. And I know like everyone says that, and everyone's like, oh yeah, like I know my buddy's coached by this guy or whatever it is, but like do your research, like find out really like who endorses them, who taught them, and find out if they're responsive, basically, because I think that's like one of the biggest issues.
No, and because you can have such a brilliant person, but if they're not showing up and they're not,
the smartest people that could be the really good coaches, but they just don't respond or just don't put a priority on that.
Yeah. That who that makes me think of back from wrestling. I'm not going to say the name, but very skilled individual.
Oh yes,
crazy, could have gone to state, but. He
just didn't have the work ethic.
He fell off the wheel. He fell off the wheel, man. But everyone knew, like, you would have been like
that guy.
Like,
that's the worst thing in life, too, right? Regret. Regret.
Wasted talent.
Yeah, wasted talent. So the last thing I'm doing, which I'm putting some good amount of money into now and time, is skincare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah.
I mean, I will say you have great skin.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that,
brother.
So I've been renovating a garage with my business partner. To make it a sanitary workstation, we're developing beef tallow skincare products. I won't give you guys.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I won't give you guys more info than that for right now, but I'll send you guys some samples.
Okay, what got you into that? If that's
TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, TikTok, and just like seeing that it's a good seller right now, and it's helped a lot. Without making any like unnecessary medical claims, my dad has a lot of melanomas, like skin cancers that he gets removed. And since he's in his 60s, his body doesn't produce the oils to really repair the area fully. So tallow, in 3 or 4 days, giving it to him, almost completely got rid of certain scars, which I found really interesting. And that's not why I got into it. I actually was fully into it, and then I gave him the cream. So,
kind of tried it out yourself, realized it actually works, and then
I felt like it made some of my acne go away on my back, and I was like, interesting. And then I went on Amazon with my business partner, and she kind of like was like, look at how popular this is, and there's not many big companies in there, and I was like, I think we should do it. So
man, and we got to have you come back and really break all that other stuff down. But you're just somebody that is definitely dabbling in quite a lot, and we wish you just immense success in all the things you're doing, and just continuing with all of your good decisions, man. And
thank you, brother.
With wrapping it up, and again, we got to have you back on, but with wrapping it up for this episode, we usually every episode like to wrap it up with an ism, or what we like to just call it's basically just a word of wisdom, maybe something that stuck out when you were going through a tough time, maybe something that you read, something that mom or dad may have said to you that just kind of helped get you that extra 10% to get through whatever challenge that you were going through. Is there a phrase, is there a quote, is there anything that you can think of right now that could be beneficial to the people listening?
Off the top of my head, I always say do everything. Do everything, even if you don't think it interests you at first. You never know what you're going to grow to like and what you're going to be good at.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if happiness is the goal, which I think that is what it is for all of us, happiness.
Yeah, for
because if you're happy at what you're doing, you're going to become good at it. If you're good at it, you should get paid well to do it, and then you become successful, right? So do everything, say yes to everything within reason, and figure out what you're good at and follow that.
That's great.
Beautiful.
Well said, man. Well, this was an amazing episode. It went by like that just because of how much we even, the things that we were talking about before. I knew this was going to be a great episode because we were like, okay, we got to start the episode. But one more thing, it was just such a great conversation. It was amazing to have you here. Got to have you back on the show. But with that being said, thank you very much, Walker, for sharing all of your knowledge you have about the game.
No problem, and thank you guys.
Yeah,
I really appreciate the invite, and I'd love to come on again.
Oh, for sure.
Got to have you back, man. And with that, do you want to go ahead and sign us out? Zan, were you signing us out today, or are you doing anything?
I think I did it last time, so we'll give it to you.
I'll do it. Which camera am I looking at?
Go ahead and pick one, bro. We got a tray of them, bro.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll go on to this one. Thank you guys so much. What episode is this? We're
This
flying
4?
through episode 4. Okay,
Yes.
dang, we're already halfway.
Season 3 episode.
Damn near halfway through the season. So, thank you guys so much for watching episode 4 of season 3. Obviously, we covered a lot today. We gotta have him back on. Just thank you for the overwhelming support. All of his links are going to be in the description, as well as all of ours. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you guys in the next episode. Stay blessed, stay safe. See you later.
Later.